Hi, I'm Rob Bernstein, and welcome to Everything Neurodiversity.
And I'm Marcia Eckert. What we're going to be talking about today is a difficult subject, something that we're coming at both personally and professionally, which is burnout.
Right, and we're thinking of burnout as just not having energy to do anything, at least for that moment. And
Oh, for a while. I mean, everybody has a bad day. Everybody has even a bad week. But burnout is something where that's more ongoing, where you just don't have anything to give, and it can feel very, like depression, except that it's more than depression. It's just having the level of stress, demand, everything be at such a high level, usually for so long, that it's just crash.
I was made to crash. I was forced to crash after open heart surgery, and you read of all, they tell you all the different results of it. One of them is depression, because you're really starting from zero.
Yeah, but the thing is, even when you had all those physical issues to deal with, you still had a lot of family issues that were going on. You still had a lot of other responsibilities that were going on. And so you had to, on the one hand, be at zero, and at the other hand, have all this stuff still happening where people are sending you saying, I need a report on this, or I need that.
Right, and if what the reality was, if I was on the phone with my brother for 20 minutes, that was the only thing I could do for the day that took my energy.
Yeah, and I had a situation where I was kind of like the chief, both medical person and personal person for somebody in my family who had a traumatic brain injury. So I spent about 2 months chasing around hospitals and insurance and everything else trying to deal with that, at the same time as I had all kinds of logistical responsibilities to keep everything flowing, and I had my professional responsibilities. And I think everybody can go through this. It's not unique to neurodivergent people, but the thing is, neurodivergent people are already working 10 times as hard just to get through. And if you're already working 10 times as hard, and then you get stretched to the length of your bandwidth and goes beyond, then that's when you see people burn out. That's when you see people get to a point where they just can't do anything more, and your brain just says, okay, I'm on vacation. And you make yourself do something is just about impossible.
And the additional thing about neurodivergent people, especially people on the spectrum, is that many people are perfectionists. So there's pressure from within. So besides everything else that's pressuring them, there's pressure from within, and then that could lead to issues with a sense of self and depression and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a parent, you can't just sort of say, okay, I'm not around to be a parent. If you're a professional, there's a sense that you're not supposed to have problems. You're supposed to just be sailing along, and you're supposed to be doing everything for everybody else. And to say, okay, I can't do everything for myself, much less for everybody else who's counting on me, that's really devastating.
Right, and so you need to first kind of accept the situation, accept that you may need help. You may need help from other people. Accept that you need to do something perhaps for yourself.
Right, and what I found really was helpful for me, I was able to maintain doing a certain level of things that I needed to do, and I think most of us end up having to do that one way or the other. But beyond that, I was somewhat transparent. I didn't share every detail, but telling people, look, I'm sorry, I'm going through a really difficult time having to do all of this stuff, and I'm just going to have to get to all of this later. And while I felt terrible about it, at the same time, people at least understood I wasn't just blowing them off or ghosting them or something like that. I literally had, and people were amazingly considerate and understanding.
I think that's really hard to do. I don't know, but maybe it's easy but it seems really hard to do, to be transparent, to admit that you're, not perfect, that you need to take a break from something. And what's interesting about that is that you're not looking for someone to feel sorry for yourself.
No.
You're just looking for someone who says, oh, I get it, I'll give you whatever you need.
Yeah, time, mostly. I mean, it's important not to beat yourself up, to be self-compassionate and self-accepting at a time when we might not feel very compassionate because we're saying, come on, get off your you-know-what and do what you're supposed to do. And so I think that the idea of compassion, of self-acceptance, of giving yourself the space you need, the rest you need, and the ability to start back slow. You're not going to hit the ground at 60 miles an hour, so that being able to start back up the way that works for you is really important.
And I have that kind of problem. If I ask myself, what do I need? And the answer is, you need to take a break, you need to rest. Wait a second, I have so much to do. How can I rest? How can I take a break and do some exercise or do the things that are going to keep me healthy mentally and physically? So that takes strength, really, to look at yourself and say, what do I need? And give yourself what you need.
And if you need somebody else to kind of help you look at what you need, or help you give yourself permission to do what you need, that can be a good time to reach out to a counselor or a therapist or a friend or somebody who's going to do that, and who has that attitude toward you that you maybe need to have toward yourself.
And then you have to listen to the person.
Yeah, and then listen.
Is this a good time to stop?
Yeah, I think that we've given us our ideas, and as you may have noticed, we weren't doing videos a lot, which is not unrelated to the topic.
Right.
But we're both back, and we'll be seeing you soon.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye-bye.